So shall I call the presenter?
Thank you. Let me again congratulate you all for being the part of this wonderful conference. And I really feel privileged to be the part of this team, which is, I think, so relevant because now we all have so many challenges to have post-COVID, COVID-19. What I don't know what I found this COVID, but at least we can say yes, post-COVID-19. So I was just going through the teams, different teams which scholars are doing. But just one request I would have for the presenters to be brief, as already been told by the organizers. Just in brief, talk about what are your basic, that things which you have come out from your research, which you have conducted, and the key focus should be in your presentation on the recommendations, because that's what actually we are looking for, the basic recommendations of. So I would request not to go for the reading and reading and reading. Just be brief, be very specific, and just talk about the kind of recommendations you have. Thank you. God bless you all. I think we must start with the first presenter. She's this one paper by Dr. Aditya. So, talking about the building a digital university ecosystem. That's wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, sir.
So I know time is of essence, and we have 9 presenters to go. So my presentation would be more of a futuristic overview of what technology is all about and how we can create a digital ecosystem to benefit everybody. I'll just request Rajanji to share the screen. You have to run it. Play. So I'm just talking about the technology innovations in a digital university ecosystem, and there are 5-6 areas of technology that I'm talking about. Number one being adaptive learning technologies, learning apps or mobile learning with gamification, Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, next generation learning management system, virtual and augmented learning, and natural user interface. So what exactly makes a digital ecosystem? What exactly makes a digital college or a digital university of the future? Because what we are seeing right now is only the first baby steps that we are taking towards digitalization. But what are those major areas that we need to understand or we need to incorporate in our system, which are truly going to make us a digital university? So these are some of those areas. I would just like to talk about these areas one by one. And so adaptive learning technologies. Now these are those technologies which actually adapt according to the student's progress. What are those technologies that will help track students' progress, adapt to the students' progress? Those kind of technologies will have to be looked into if we have to create a digital ecosystem. Similarly, customized lesson planning has to be part of this type of adaptation. Every student is a unique learner. Everybody learns according to their own style, way, time, and their own level of concentration and attention. So one same lesson plan cannot be a yardstick of measurement for all students. So our adapt system should be able to adapt in such a manner that we are able to provide customized lesson planning to students. Similarly, there are open learning initiatives. The learning should not be confined to the 4 walls of the classroom. We have an excellent open educational resource concept wherein academics are free to share their resources with the students, with the learning community and academic fraternity, and they are not confined to just those classrooms and the notes and the teachings that are shared in the classroom. So it has to be open for all. And last but not the least, there has to be a personalized approach towards learning. So learning needs to be personalized for each and every student. Since I said that every learner is unique, so learning styles, teaching styles, and mode of delivery for these learners also have to be unique. Coming to learning apps or mobile learning with gamification, this is another major area that is developing now. Smart devices, incorporating smartphones, tablets, other portable devices into an instructional program is basically mobile learning. So when we are using mobile phones, tablets, or other mobile devices for learning purposes, that means we are truly integrating mobile learning platform in our education system. And it has been proven by research that almost students spend 5 hours a day on their mobile phones. uh, I mean, you try to understand if out of those 5 hours, maybe 1 or 2 hours could be devoted towards specific to learning. It could really impact how the outcomes of the students could be, both for teaching as well as training. So teachers can also use mobile learning systems, and students can also use mobile learning systems for both teaching as well as training purposes. The biggest advantage of learning apps and mobile learning is that it is comfortable and accessible. So mobile phones are readily available with us at every given point of time, even lying in our beds at night, with the mobiles are with us, tablets are with us. So it's a comfortable learning environment which the student can experience when he's undertaking mobile learning. And mobile learning has a big advantage of collaborating and creating. So these all social media applications, and many of these applications are also applicable to education. You can create digital content just with the help of your mobile device. Imagine, in future there could be an Instagram for education. So how would you use Instagram for education? You could, just share books, notes, or any important information that you see anywhere around the world with the click of your mobile phone with your learning community. I mean, a teacher, if he finds out, oh, this is a good material for my students, and he doesn't have time to copy that down or download it, he just clicks a picture with his mobile phone and shares it with his students. So disseminating learning easy and quickly. And then submit assignments and assessments. So all of us have experienced this to a certain extent. We use mobile phones to click photograph of our assignments, create PDFs, upload them in Google Classrooms, and submit them for evaluation. So this is going to be even more utilized in the future. And when mobile learning is integrated with the learning management system, which itself is intelligent and next generation, then mobile learning will truly come into force, and we'll see that everyone is using mobile learning for gaining knowledge. Then the third important step or milestone is Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. So this is the future. We'll have smart cloud connected devices. So imagine you have an Alexa or a Google Home connected in your home, and if you want to find out, okay, Alexa, tell me what was studied in class 401 today, and imagine Alexa, narrating that class to you, or giving a summary of what was taught in the class today. Those are the smart, connected devices. You can see nowadays even home appliances have smart features built into them. So if you are, cooking in the kitchen, and if your television has a small, your fridge has a small tablet attached to it, and you are just telling your fridge that, okay, please read out to me the notes that my friend has sent me this evening while you are cooking only. So like you are in a habit of listening to music, now you will be in a habit of listening to learning materials and podcasts. So a lot of things are getting connected. So smart cloud connected devices. Then we have process automation, the things that you have a habit of doing yourself through your learning management system or mobile learning, they could automatically be automated through a process. Say for example, when if you say that, okay, at 4 o'clock I have to submit my assignment. So whatever assignment that you have conducted, and it is saved in your folder, will automatically get sent at 4 o'clock to your teacher. The system will not disturb you, or even if you forget that I have to send an assignment, it will be process automated, and those things will be done on time. It will be highly personalized learning. So if you want that, okay, I don't want information coming to me from this source, but only this and this source as my first priority. So the system will sort it out for you. And so these type of systems have already started working. So for example, if you search something on Google, and if you open your Facebook or if you open your social media, you start seeing advertisements from that search that you did on Google coming into Facebook or any other social media. Now, how is that being done? That is being done by highly personalized advertisement targeting and marketing. The same way your courses, as the same way your learning will also get targeted in your learning management system. If suppose you are searching say classical conditioning theory of learning on Google, and when you open your learning management system, you'll automatically see 10 links about classical conditioning theory being sent to your learning management system automatically by the AI engine of the system. So it's kind of what you are trying to think and do, the system is already reading your mind, and it has set that process according to your own personalized learning. Then wearable devices for students health management. So students are saying there is a lot of pressure, there is a lot of tension, we have so many exams, we have so many assignments. So the new generation student will have a smart watch or a health band attached to them, and the teachers, when they give a test, they will monitor the progress of students health, that which students are under stress, which students are not performing, or which student is precipitating more, or which student is feeling the pressure, or their heartbeat has increased or something. So that way it will help them design question papers and your material that you have to attempt. Similarly, advanced data collection techniques will be the AI based tutoring. So if you want that, okay, I want to learn something about a particular topic, say the new education policy. Now, if it wasn't an AI system, you will go to Google, search NEP 2020, and whatever material comes, then you'll start finding out what it is. But if it was an AI based system, you just have to say, give me the summary of national education policy, and our AI system will summarize from the UGC documents and other important sources and present that summary just for you, so that you don't have to go through thousands of documents together. Chatbots for FAQ. So if there are certain questions that every student asks, suppose admission आपको लेनी है, and then you say, okay, fees कितनी है, इस course का syllabus क्या है. तो अगर आपको हर बार same question जो है किसी person से पूछना पड़ेगा, तो कितना tiring हो जाएगा. So you have chatbots. You just write B.Ed. It will start asking you, what do you want to know about B.Ed? Syllabus, fees, examination. You click on fees, it will tell you the fees. You click on syllabus, it will give you the syllabus. So automated process of a chatbot is there to answer your queries. Similarly, feedback analysis and performance prediction. It is not performance analysis. It is your prediction. Okay, if in the unit 1 examination, this was your performance, now the AI system based on your classroom tests and other performance will be able to predict how will you perform in your midterm 2, or how will you perform in your end semester examination. So that is the level of predictability and technology integration that is coming into our system. We were just talking about learning management system. So we have now the next generation learning management system. So systems that are based on Moodle or Google Classroom, they are all learning management systems. So these learning management systems will help us in administration and management, tracking of courses. The system itself will track कितना course पढ़ लिया, कितना करना है, क्या चीज पेंडिंग रह गई है, कौन सा एग्जाम आपने मिस किया, उस एग्जाम को दिए बगैर कोर्स आगे नहीं चलेगा, आप एक स्टेज आगे जंप नहीं कर सकते. So all these systems will be built into your learning management system. Multiple assessment solutions. So somebody likes to give objective type tests. Somebody likes to give an open book examination. Somebody would like to write an assignment. Based on your preference, the system will generate an exam for you. It is your decision what kind of exam you want to take. Then advanced data analytics, and then tailor-made students offerings. So what I want to say is that all these systems are being designed keeping at heart the student. It has to be student centric. How you want to study, at what speed you want to study, how much you want to study, how you want to be assessed, will all be based on your personal preference, which the system will generate, and there will be a deeper understanding of students' behavior. And then there is going to be virtual and augmented reality. So everything is going to be, very deep and immersive. Already, that Facebook has changed its name to basically a short form of metaverse. So they are creating a digital, a virtual world wherein you can go and spend the entire day, right? You don't even need to come out of in the physical world. वहीं पर आपके फ्रेंड्स बनेंगे, वहीं पर आप जाके पढ़ोगे, वहीं पर आप शॉपिंग करोगे, वहीं पर खाना भी खाओगे virtually, right? चाहे वो पेट में जाए या ना जाए is a different thing, but it will provide you that experience that yes, you have been able to do that, and then you can get out of that virtual world and come back to the real world. So that is the kind of experience, deep immersive learning experiences that are coming. And these will be digitally rendered environment. So if I want to now take my students on a trip to say Taj Mahal, as a teacher, I'm a history teacher and I want to take my students to Taj Mahal. So in the times of COVID, when the travel is banned and I cannot go out of home, how do I do that? So everybody, students will be given virtual headsets. So everybody will connect from their own homes with their virtual headsets, and teacher will be there. And when you enter that meta world, you will reach Agra, and from there you will enter Taj Mahal, and the teacher will give you a virtual tour of every room and every place of the monument and show its beauty in all its grace in the virtual world only. So it's like, yes, I have been there, and you can, sit on that famous bench of Taj Mahal where all celebrities sit and get their photograph clicked, and your picture will also be taken on that background. And then you can print that picture, and anybody says, have you been to Taj Mahal? You can show that picture to them. Yes, I've been there, done that. So that is the kind of digital immersive experiences, we are talking about in education. And these are going to be, there's going to be freedom from physical spaces. So wherever you are in the world, just with your virtual headset, you can connect and you can, enjoy that particular experience. And then there's going to be radical pedagogical processes and comprehensive and scalable learning. So we could scale our learning to whatever level we have. So say, for example, if a science teacher wants to show nuclear fusion or nuclear fission, now that is not possible in a science lab or in the classroom, because these are very dangerous experiments. But in a virtual learning environment, everything is possible. So it could be done that way. And last but not the least, this is the new focus, natural user interface, how we interact with technology. Abhi to hum keyboards use kar rahe hain, but now slowly and gradually what is happening, we are using our senses. So everything, all devices are becoming touch sensitive. We have tabs which are touch sensitive. We are using, voice to control devices. So for example, Alexa, you can also, have you tried voice over in Microsoft Word, or you try to type long documents with your voice? So all these are, natural user interfaces which are actually trying to come into the higher education system. So it's like you are just sitting on your desk, which is completely a touch sensitive device. So you touch here, you enter a particular classroom, you can move one file from this place to this place on a touch tablet. So everything is getting into that natural user face interface territory. And this is going to, revolutionize how we interact with our learning material. So multi-sensory input, next generation voice recognition tools will be there. There will be sensors interacting with technology. So if when I enter the classroom and my sensor detects, yes, the temperature is high, automatically the temperature of the air conditioning will shift to 18 degrees from 22 degrees, right? So it's a natural user interface. It senses both from the environment and from the user. And last but not the least, game-based learning. So everything is changing to gamification. It's like your learning management system. Whenever I think so, the previous keynote speaker, they had presented, smiley faces in their presentation. So it's like when you do a question right, a smiley face is presented to you. It's like, in primary school, when the students used to do good, teachers used to give 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, or sometimes gold star, silver star. So what was that for? It was trying to, acknowledge their progress by gamification. The same concept of gamification is coming to education also. So if in semester 1, the game is you achieve greater than 65%, one free course for you of your choice. Okay, that is your gamification. Number two, you are automatically registered for an international conference because of your performance. You know, you are being incentivized for your learning and your outcomes. That is what the new gamification concept is like. So, a lot of changes coming into the system of higher education, especially with incorporating modern educational technologies. And last but not the least, I'll only like to say that only if we innovate, then we will be able to excel. Without innovation, we cannot excel. So these new technologies, even if we don't want them, they are going to come. It is up to us how we adopt them and use them in our day-to-day systems. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ajit. Very informative presentation you have done. And sir has started with developing or building a digital university ecosystem. Now, when we talk about ecosystem, when we talk about digitalization, the next issue, the very vital issue, comes about who will take care. And for that purpose, we have the next presentation. This professional development of teachers. So we have the next presenter. I think Shreya Sareen and Dr. Sayantan Mandal. Shreya Sareen is the research scholar, Department of Human and Social Humanities and Social Sciences, Indian Institute of Technology, Jammu, IIT. And then one joint presenter, Dr. Sayantan Mandal, is assistant professor in the same institute. And now both of them are the presenter talk about the subsiding teachers' profession development during pandemic. That's very vital issue. Please carry on. We'll take up the question after all the presentations. So you can note down the questions. I request the audience to make note of all those questions, the queries they have for different presentations. We'll keep around 10 minutes for the questions. Madam, please go ahead.
So, very good evening to one and all. This is Shreya Sareen. I am a research scholar from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Jammu. And today I will be talking about subsiding teachers' professional development during the pandemic, a case study of selected higher education institutions in Kashmir. This is a joint paper with Dr. Sayantan Mandal. And this paper right now is a working draft. Towards the end of the presentation, or probably towards the end of all the presentations, I look forward to your critical comments so that we can incorporate that as suggestions in our paper. So let me just begin without taking much time. We all know about the proliferation in blended teaching learning. We've been seeing that, we've witnessed that. It hasn't happened abruptly just because of COVID. So over a period of time, because of so many technological advancements, coupled with the impetus given by the national education policies on digital learning, we saw an eventual growth of digital learning. However, the whole process was catalyzed because of the pandemic situation. Another matter of concern is, how do we know, or what basically, how would we say that blended and online learning would be effective? According to literature, there are a number of factors responsible for this. However, one particular factor that this particular paper would take into consideration is teachers' professional development, and not general teachers' professional development, but teachers' professional development for blended and online learning. While there is plethora of literature which talks about teachers' professional development in general, and again, recently there have, many studies have basically come up which are describing teachers' professional development for blended and online learning. Based on the review, we found that there is a dearth of studies which are basically talking about the problems that the teachers' professional development programs, particularly for blended and online learning, the problems that they encountered, particularly in the context of a conflict zone like Kashmir. So when I say, when I'm talking about Kashmir, before going further, I would very briefly talk about the problems that Kashmir region in particular faces. Well, we have classified the problems into two main categories. One is the geographical barriers, and the other one is the political barriers. Geographical barriers, as you can see, the mountainous terrain and the harsh winters in Kashmir, which makes digital learning difficult, especially during winters. And because of the terrain, the mountains, students traveling long distances to study online was a very common response that we got based on the data that we collected, but I'll be coming to that. Then talking about the political barriers, we all know about the internet shutdowns. I mean, since most of us, I believe, here are from Jammu, this is one point probably I don't need to really expand. So at this juncture, there is one more thing I would like to mention, that though I am talking about the geopolitical impediments, we have not analyzed that data based on any geographical or political theory. The analysis is based on the impact of the problems which the geopolitical impediments are creating on the educational scenario, particularly the teacher's professional development. So now what the study basically is trying to answer is, first, what kind of barriers were faced, what kind of problems were there for the teachers' professional development programs in Kashmir targeting blended and online learning. Further, given the barriers, how was the TPD actually carried out? And next, what are the perceptions of teachers and administrators regarding these BOL, regarding these TPD programs? And I mean, was there any change over a period of time? Because our study, in sync with the last keynote speaker, I mean, this study is also a longitudinal study in nature. And since I've been talking about teachers' professional development, the definition that we have adopted for the term teachers' professional development for the present work is basically the framework by Philipson, which he gave in 2019. It's a highly cited work. So this definition of this framework by Philipson, it goes beyond the general understanding of teachers' professional development in blended online learning. And generally, we focus on the technological domain, the pedagogical domain, and the content domain, right? However, why we selected this particular framework is because it's a comprehensive visual framework which talks about 6 elements. I'll not be really talking about them in detail, but just a very brief overview that it begins talking about the development of a program. What would be the objectives? What would be the activities? What would be covered? What time period would be suitable? For how much time period should the TPD program actually be organized? 2, acknowledging the institutional characteristics, the cultural context, rethinking the role of teachers, students, the professional identity, dissemination, evaluation, the personality characteristics that are basically needed for any TPD program, and then the overall goals of the program. So in order to conduct this study, in this particular study that I'll be talking right now here, for this we collected data from almost 106 teachers based on online surveys from Kashmir region. And the qualitative data was collected from 50 teachers and 15 administrators from personal interviews. For the qualitative data, we adopted a mix of stratified and convenience sampling. So we went to 3 districts out of the 10 districts in Kashmir. I stayed there for almost a month, like last month, and that's how we got it done. Further, as you can see, there is one part which is quantitative data, and then there is another part which is qualitative data. What we are planning to do is we are trying to triangulate quantitative data with the help of.
Please come to that.
Sure. Right. So thematic analysis is the ultimate thing we are trying to do. Just one thing that I would like to mention here, that this particular study is a part of a large-scale project by IIT Jammu, which is coordinated by Dr. Shayantan Mandal. It's an ongoing project which is going in Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh region. So coming directly to the results, based on thematic analysis, we came out with these 6 themes. I haven't added any graphs or any empirical data because I thought for brevity of time it would be better to give just the general overview. So lack of personal resources mostly on the part of the teachers, wherein they did not, it was not just limited to digital divide, it was beyond digital divide because the reasons I've already explained. Institutional lag was basically related to number 1, the institution not being able to provide the resources because of financial constraints. Number 2, it was because there was this kind kind of discord between the administrators and the teachers. So, for example, in some of the institutes, we saw that certain resources were procured, but the teachers were not really happy because they were not consulted. About the cultural context, for any PPT program, as also explained by Philipson, that it must be cultural to make it more personalized. However, for a closed society like Kashmir, there were a number of impediments. For example, the female teachers and students not being comfortable opening their cameras, and then the list goes on, which needs to be considered and proved to be one of the major impediments. About the part of rethinking roles, so usually based on the data that we are still analyzing, what we saw was that teachers are trying to replicate teaching on board to teaching on smart board. Relevance is again a matter of concern. So yes, of course, there were technological constraints that we are aware of. I'll not be talking about it. But beyond that, there were constraints related to pedagogy in the online mode. So, for example, many teachers said that XYZ practical could not be conducted in the online mode. But coming from a technological institute, we know that there are modalities for it. What is required is appropriate training. And collaboration, so mostly the teachers collaborated, took help from other colleagues, usually the computer sciences and IT department at the college level. And this is the last slide wherein we cross-tabulated, we are basically cross-tabulating the data. And there were some findings that we saw. So for example, when I talk about the impediments or the bottlenecks, what we saw that there's a very important role of source of funding for the universities and colleges. So, for example, for the higher education institutes that were funded by the state, they probably had financial constraints. They could not procure a number of resources. But for the higher education institutes that were funded by the center, they could procure a number of resources. But the point of concern here is that in both the institutes, PPT programs were not really happening. In one case, it was because of lack of resources. In the other case, it was because of lack of awareness. Then there's this one particular point that I would like to mention before wrapping up. That's related to interpersonal skills. So the PPT framework, which is given by Philipson, while we found that this framework is very effective in the context of Kashmir, for which we were trying to analyze the data, based on the responses that we got from a number of teachers and administrators, there was this one point that many teachers mentioned, and that is that we are not able to connect with our students, especially those students who have joined online for the first time. So there is this one aspect of interpersonal skills. So while yes, technological content and the pedagogical skills in teachers' professional development for blended and online learning needs importance, there is another domain probably which we're trying to lay trust on from our study, and that is the interpersonal skills, how to really connect with your students in the online mode. That also plays a very vital role. And on this note, I would like to thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. But this one just think when we talk about resource analysis which you have and all that, the process analysis also you have included, the practices being done, the GDP and all that.
No, sir, not the practice.
That's I think very important point. Anyway, now when we go ahead, thank you, ma'am. We'll take up the question afterwards.
Yeah.
Again, a very important aspect we have about the online teaching and assessment. So we have the next presenter, Mr. Sufyan Anjum Sheikh, and he'll be taking up online teaching and assessment during COVID-19 pandemic challenges and effective practices. Again, I appeal Mr. Sufyan to be brief, talk about what challenges you were talking about and effective practices. Let's be very brief in all that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. So, my topic is online teaching and assessment during COVID-19 pandemic challenges and effective practices. चैलेंजेस जो फेस हुए हैं, बेसिकली मैं रूरल एरिया को फोकस करना चाहूँगा बिकॉज आई बिलोंग टू रूरल एरिया। एक तो नेटवर्क इशू जो कि बहुत मेन इशू है। नेटवर्क इशू एक ऐसा चैलेंज था कि जो कि हम लोगों ने भी खुद ही फेस किया, और अभी भी रिसेंटली मैं एक स्कूल में पढ़ा रहा हूँ, टीच कर रहा हूँ वहाँ पे। तो वहाँ पे भी हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि वहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स ने क्या, उनको हमने अभी इवेलुएट किया रिसेंटली, तो मैं रिकमेंडेशन उसको डिस्कस करूंगा कि स्टूडेंट्स की क्या प्रॉब्लम्स थी उस टाइम पे। और एक तो टाइम मैनेजमेंट का इशू था। टाइम मैनेजमेंट इन द सेंस कि स्टूडेंट्स को जब इवैल्यूएशन होता था, ऑनलाइन असेसमेंट होता था, तो उस टाइम पे स्टूडेंट्स किस तरीके से टाइम को मैनेज करते थे, बिकॉज उनको टाइम दिया जाता था कि आपको इस टाइम पीरियड में अपने पेपर्स को सबमिट करना है। जैसे एमसीक्यूज अगर दिए जाते थे तो उसके लिए 10 मिनट्स का टाइम होता था। समटाइम्स क्या होता था कि रूरल एरिया की अगर बात की जाए तो नेटवर्क इशू होता है, और विद इन 10 मिनट्स अगर नेटवर्क इशू उसी टाइम पे चला जाए तो स्टूडेंट्स अपने पेपर को सबमिट नहीं कर पाते। और इंटरेक्शन, फेस टू फेस इंटरेक्शन अगर टीचर्स के साथ नहीं होगा, डायरेक्ट इंटरेक्शन अगर टीचर्स के साथ नहीं होगा, तो डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली स्टूडेंट्स की इवैल्यूएशन पे या स्टूडेंट्स की परफॉर्मेंस पे पड़ेगा। देन कम्युनिकेशन इन नीड, कि अगर स्टूडेंट्स को जब भी एक टीचर के साथ कम्युनिकेट करने की जरूरत हो या टीचर के साथ प्रॉब्लम्स को डिस्कस करने की जरूरत हो, तो उस टाइम पे अगर टीचर की बेसिकली क्या हुआ कि अगर ऑनलाइन टीचिंग है तो उस टाइम पे टीचर के साथ अगर स्टूडेंट कनेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहा है तो स्टूडेंट अपनी प्रॉब्लम को टीचर के साथ डिस्कस नहीं कर पाएगा, तो वो भी स्टूडेंट्स की परफॉर्मेंस के ऊपर इफेक्ट करेगा। देन एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है, एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज था कि जो प्लेजरिज्म हुआ कोविड-19 के टाइम पे, कोविड-19 में इवैल्यूएशन में, कि स्टूडेंट्स ने क्या किया, बेसिकली कॉपी पेस्ट किया एग्जामिनेशन में। जो उनको पढ़ाया गया, टीचर्स ने बहुत अच्छे से जो मेहनत करके ऑनलाइन में, फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा था कि टीचर्स स्टूडेंट्स को ऑनलाइन पढ़ा रहे थे। उससे पहले ऑनलाइन टीचिंग का स्टूडेंट्स को नॉलेज भी नहीं था। अगर मैं अपनी पर्सनल बात करूं कि मुझे भी जूम का या गूगल मीट का या गूगल क्लासरूम का नहीं पता था, तो फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा था। लेकिन टीचर्स ने बहुत ट्राई किया। अगर फिर भी स्टूडेंट्स अपने असेसमेंट के टाइम पे, इवैल्यूएशन के टाइम पे प्लेजरिज्म करेंगे, कॉपी पेस्ट करेंगे, तो उसका कोई बेनिफिट नहीं होगा। और स्टूडेंट्स का इंटरेस्ट भी बहुत कम होता था। जैसे कि अभी इनॉग्रेल सेशन में बात चल रही थी कि स्टूडेंट्स जहां भी होंगे, जैसे ट्रैवल कर रहे होंगे तो क्लासेस ले जाएंगे, तो स्टूडेंट्स का इंटरेस्ट बहुत कम हो जाता है ऑनलाइन टीचिंग में। तो रिकमेंडेशन पे मैं आऊंगा। सब बेसिकली सबसे पहले तो रिकमेंडेशन यही है कि स्टूडेंट्स को एक तो कोलैबोरेटिव लर्निंग को स्टूडेंट्स को, हम लोगों को इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहिए कॉलेजेस में भी, या बेसिक लेवल के या प्राइमरी लेवल के या सेकेंडरी लेवल के हमारे स्कूल्स हैं, उनमें हमें कोलैबोरेटिव लर्निंग को इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहिए और ज्यादा उस पर फोकस करना चाहिए, ताकि स्टूडेंट्स जो है आपस में कोलैबोरेट करके, और टीचर्स का कोलैबोरेशन भी इसमें होगा कि टीचर्स की, जैसे अगर एक टीचर कोई सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा रहा है तो पेपर जो सेटअप करेगा वो दूसरा कोई टीचर करे, तो उससे भी क्या हो सकता है कि हमारा जो असेसमेंट होगा फेयर असेसमेंट होगा। और कुछ एप्स हैं जो कि 2G नेटवर्क पे बहुत अच्छी चलती है। जैसे कि रूरल एरियाज में 2G नेटवर्क ही था स्टार्टिंग में। अभी भी हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट डोडा की अगर बात की जाए तो अभी भी बहुत सारे एरियाज ऐसे हैं कि जहाँ पे अभी भी 3G नेटवर्क पे शिफ्ट नहीं हुआ है, अभी भी 2G नेटवर्क चल रहा है। अगर रादर देन की अगर अर्बन एरियाज की बात की जाए तो अभी 5G पे शिफ्ट हो रहा है नेटवर्क। तो उसकी वजह से हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं कि जिन एरियाज में नेटवर्क कनेक्टिविटी बहुत कम है, तो कुछ ऐप जैसे गूगल मीट है या गूगल फॉर्म्स है, उससे हम लोग स्टूडेंट्स की इवैल्यूएशन करें, बिकॉज वो 2G नेटवर्क पे बहुत अच्छे तरीके से वर्क करते हैं, गूगल मीट में, गूगल क्लासरूम में। और सेल्फ टेस्ट क्विजेस स्टूडेंट्स को लिए जाएं, कि क्विजेस को कंडक्ट करना अगर ऑनलाइन हम लोग कर रहे हैं और या ऑफलाइन कर रहे हैं, तो स्टूडेंट्स को क्विजेस में ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व किया जाए। उससे भी क्या होगा कि स्टूडेंट्स जो लर्न कर रहे हैं तो उससे कॉपी पेस्ट से बचेंगे। और पीयर इवैल्यूएशन, स्टूडेंट्स को टास्क दिया जाए कि वो भी आपस में इवैल्यूएशन करें। पीयर इवैल्यूएशन इन द सेंस कि एक तो स्टूडेंट्स को, इससे क्या होगा कि स्टूडेंट एक दूसरे को क्रिटिसाइज कर पाएंगे, चाहे पॉजिटिव हो या नेगेटिव हो। इससे क्या होगा कि स्टूडेंट्स की इवैल्यूएशन पे हम लोग ज्यादा फोकस कर पाएंगे और स्टूडेंट्स की परफॉर्मेंस पे ज्यादा फोकस कर पाएंगे। और नेटवर्क इशू की अगर बात की जाए तो रूरल एरियाज में नेटवर्क इश्यूज का मॉडिफाई होना ज्यादा जरूरी है। तो अगर इससे अगर मॉडिफिकेशन नहीं होगा या अच्छा नेटवर्क नहीं होगा रूरल एरियाज में, अगर इन केस फ्यूचर में कोविड-19 फिर से आ जाता है, अगला फेज आ जाता है तो स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत ही ज्यादा मुश्किल हो जाएगा कि वो अपनी ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन को कंटिन्यू कर पाएं। जैसे कि रिसर्च से डेटा मिला है कि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स ने जो है ड्रॉप आउट कर लिया अपने स्कूल्स को इन्हीं नेटवर्क इश्यूज की वजह से, और कोई रीजन नहीं है। दैट्स ऑल।
Thank you, Mr. Anjushri. You talked about three main points, that peer evaluation and self-test based kind of thing. Now, a very vital issue in the whole teaching learning process pedagogy was the engagement of students. How to sustain students. For that purpose, we have another presentation, another paper by three persons. Ms. Meenakshi, this is all from Central University of Jammu, Mr. Ashu Sharma, Dr. Neetu Bakshi. Let's see what the model they are talking about. The student engagement strategies in online learning model. So we expect they'll give a very good model, and I would again request the presenter to be brief and simply talk about that model which they are referring to, which sustainable model, teaching learning model to enhance the learning engagement there. So Ms. Meenakshi, I think they are on the stage.
Yes, sir. A very good evening to everyone. Okay. As we all know that today we are shifting towards an online learning due to sudden emergence of the COVID-19 outbreak. And with the advancement in the technology, we are also heading towards the online learning. It's not only because of the COVID-19. And the major challenges and issues, as we all know that today we are facing, not only teachers are facing, but the students are also facing some of the challenges. Like I will briefly discuss about these challenges. Like some opportunities have also provided by online learning to us, but still there are challenges also, because every individual has different learning style, and designing and developing an effective course material to meet the needs of the different learners is a major issue. And the major issue that arises out of this is the student engagement. How to engage the student in a conducive online learning environment in order to achieve the objectives of the course material, and also to bring the sustainability in the teaching learning process. And some of the challenges, like we can say the seeking attention. Seeking attention of the student is a major issue besides in front of the teachers. And the next is the lack of sufficient digital infrastructure, then digital literacy, technical glitches, technical issues, and there are more distractions and less discipline in the online learning system. Now I will talk about the student engagement strategies. The student engagement strategies are generally those strategies that helps in creating a conducive online learning environment, and which promotes the students' curiosity to learn, students' desire to explore more learning materials, and overall which helps in making the online learning system more interactive. Generally, we talk about the student engagement strategies. The one model that come across in our mind is the Moore's framework, that is based on Moore's framework that is based on types of interaction. The student engagement strategies are nothing but it is based on the types of interaction that has been proposed by the Moore in 1993, and there are three types of interaction. And these three types of interaction or engagement strategies form the base core of the sustainable teaching learning model. The first strategy is learner to learner interaction or engagement. The next is learner to content engagement, and the third one is the learner to instructor engagement, or we can say that learner to instructor interaction. These are the core of the sustainable teaching learning model. Learner to learner engagement, here the teacher tries to provide a platform to the student so that he makes the teaching learning environment more conducive and more sustainable. Here, how we can provide such an environment to the student by sitting at a far distant place, while providing them the group task, by the peer assessments, by providing them some activities and assignments through which they can share their perspectives on the particular content, particular course material, particular activities, and thus they can create the engagement in the classroom by sitting at the far distant places. And these activities are must in order to reduce the sense of the isolation that generally cultivates through the online teaching these days. Now the second one is the learner to instructor engagement or learner to instructor interaction. It is the second core of the sustainable teaching learning model. Here the students are expected to engage more, to participate more in activities. Look, in offline classes, what we see, the teacher is physically present there, and there is a more tendency of interaction between student and teacher. But in online classes, the student generally feel shy, feel hesitation, and there is a sense of isolation, and they feel isolated and feel more distracted. Here, the student, by showing more concern towards the students, by assigning the positive behavior, by modeling positive behavior towards them, can create the engagement in the classrooms. And researchers has shown that the rapport and collaboration between the student and the teachers enhances a lot if the interactive online environment is created there by through the help of the YouTube, through the help of the assignments, through the help of the chat session, and by also by in between feedbacks, by getting in between quizzes. Also, he can create a more interaction between the students and the teachers. The next is learner to content interaction, or we can say that learner to content engagement. How the teacher tries and how students tries to create more engagement towards the content. Here, the one thing that we have to keep in mind, that we not only completing the course here through the online teaching, but we also have to achieve the instructional goals, that are the specified goals that are meant in every course material. Here, to engage the students, firstly we have to teach the children how to arouse their curiosity, how to satisfy their creativity, and how to explore more and more resources, and how to interact more and more, so that a kind of conducive creativity, so that a kind of engagement can be maintained in the classrooms. And here also, one the different thing that I would like to share here. Here the teacher can provide them the real world applications, real world examples through the project based, through collaborative learning, by providing them presentations, by asking them to make a report of their local specified problems, or by assigning such activities, so that a real scenario, so that a real test can be. Okay.
If we talk about the strategies.
Next, the other strategies that we can discuss. Here the strategies are internet discussion forums. We should create more and more internet discussion forums and provide students an ample opportunities to participate in such activities, rather than become a passive learner, rather than become a passive participant in the online learning environment. Then collaborative online learning approach is another major strategy that works as a wonder for the sustainable teaching learning model. Here, the collaboration can be created by the project-based activities, by the group tasks, by assigning them some presentation, some work, so that we can work in a collaborative way, and the sense of isolation can be reduced and more engagement can be maintained. The model, the collaboration model is not only meant for students only, but it works for teacher also. The teacher, or the main resource teacher, by sitting at a far distance place, can also collaborate with the T1, that is teacher 1, then teacher 2, then teacher 3 at the distance place, and can share their ideas and also increase the personal contact. In the same way, the students, by sitting at the far distance places, can create the collaboration between one another. Next is now, what are the steps, or we can say that what are the recommendations regarding the implementation of the sustainable teaching learning model? The first one is that the course content should be such, whenever we create the course content, it should be such that makes the student aware of the expectations, what the teacher want and what the students are expected to achieve after the completion of the course, so that they can contribute towards the development of their overall personality, and also can achieve the instructional goals smoothly. Next is the dividing the course material. Whenever we assign some course material, whenever we assign some activities, we should assign them into the form of the modules. An introduction module, the orientation of the course should be provided to them. Then weekly modules should be provided to them, so that their engagement can be maintained in the course material, and they can feel more interested, and they can feel more engaged during the online coursework. Next is the assignments. Whenever we assign some coursework, some project to the students, do align it.
Let's concentrate on the last one.
Okay. The last and the most important point is that we should provide such opportunities to the student and such technological resources to the students so they can avail the learning resources to be sitting at a far distant place also. Whenever they want, whenever they are free and whenever they get time, they can go through the recorded lectures. They can go through the record clips and so that they have a clear understanding and a deeper understanding of the course material so that they feel more engaged, and also they can maintain the course notes also so that if they have any query regarding this they can clarify at their own convenience and by sitting at a far places. So this is all about the sustainable teaching learning model.
Thank you. You have talked about the model, kind of sustainable teaching learning model for this online learning. Now, another paper we have, another next presenter, we have Dr. Pallavi Arora, Mr. Shivam Mahajan from University of Jammu, and Archana Madam Talwar, Archana Talwar, teacher, Army Public School of Law. These are three joint presenters. They are talking about development of a global mindset. Let's see what they are reflecting about possibilities of India amidst COVID-19 pandemic. So what is global mindset they're talking about from that side? Yeah. So I would request the presenter who is on the dais to be brief about what's the global mindset they are referring to and what are the possibilities of Indian mindset. What is there? You have only 5.
Yes, sir. Namaste, Honorable Chair and the team and all the participants. I'll start with one quote from Thirukkural. Thirukkural says, Put simply, it is the only learning is the true and imperishable wealth. All other things are positives. First, my study topic is global mindset. I'm focusing upon the more fastest developing economy, India. And the last point, what are the possibilities for India? Within that, I'll cover about the pitfalls therein. So, what is global mindset? Put simply, it is just one multi-dimensional construct which talks about how to connect local with the global. That's a global mindset. There are, it is studied at different levels, individual and organizational level. Why India? Simply, India aspires to be the Vishwa Guru. We are having the largest demographic dividend across the world. We aspire to be Atmanirbhar, $5 trillion economy, and most importantly, World Economic Forum has cautioned India about this illusioned youth. So, in that sense, studying that, so many speakers have talked about how pandemic has impacted education sector, be it assessment, be it anything. To bridge the gap of an aspiring India and which has already been impacted by the pandemic, my team has talked about global mindset as it aspires again to connect the local with the global. How to build a global mindset? Vygotsky has talked about constructivism in his approach. Espinati, a researcher, has talked about wherein countries where parents are not too educated, like India, teachers have an important role. Watson has talked about blended learning continuum, start from somewhere, end up somewhere, manage and monitor the whole process. Pathak's online pedagogies, Leon and Hunt's event-based approach. We saw when Prime Minister Modi was here in Delhi, there were different stalls. Go on. And lastly, 13 years ago, one researcher, Subhata Mitra, listen to his TED talk. He has talked about hole in the wall experiment. Researchers have already talked about that learning is not confined to 4 walls of the classroom. Watch this video, hole in the wall experiment. Believe me, it can happen. Anyone, especially in India, to develop a global mindset. But other pitfalls, we know all of us are fans of Iron Man, but we don't have a Jarvis at our disposal. We know what Dota is suffering from. And Yuval Noah Harari, he's a looked after researcher. He has talked about useless class of citizenries. Too much online can drain our brains. And connecting to that only, India has already suffered too much from brain drain. The more we go global, the more we lose Satya Nadellas and Sundar Pichais to the world. So avoid these things And finally, we need to have Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. But more than that, we need to have Sabka Vidya and Sabka Global Mindset. Thank you.
So Mahajan, you just talked about the Indian mindset, okay? And what just in the 1-2 lines conclude, because I think your conclusion has to be more specific. What would you like to say about the Indian mindset?
So we need to bridge the gap because we are aspiring for too
Because
many.
you have quoted national education.
Yes, national education policy. One thing I forgot is how much. Can anyone let me know how much percentage of GDP do we spend on our education? Kitna spend karte hain? 3.5%. Yeah. And how much does the education policy talks about? Kitna bridge karna? 6%. 6%. हम कैसे bridge करेंगे उसको? छोटे steps, small steps. हमारी अपनी education. This very conference is an effort in that direction. Okay, so when money circulates, global mindset does happen. That is my point.
We are not talking about the funding as
Not just funding, research.
Thank you,
Also.
thank you. Now, next presenter we have that on reflections of university teachers on online teaching assessment, because different sectors of education we have. So we have one Ms. Rama Verma and Dr. Ravi Banguri joint paper from Central University of Jammu, Department of Education Studies. So the presenter will talk about university teachers' reflection on online teaching as well as assessment. So I request the presenter to be brief, talk about reflections of university teachers, and then on the 2 issues, teaching and assessment. Please be brief. Within 5 minutes, you have to conclude.
A very warm evening to all present here. Today I am here with my name is Rama Verma, and the present research work is a collaborative effort of me and Dr. Ravi Banguri, and the name of the research paper is Reflection of University Teacher over Online Teaching and Assessment during COVID-19 and Impediments. The research questions of this studies are like, what reflections do university next slide please, next slide. Yes, what is the opinion of university teachers on the basis of experience meet while imparting online teaching learning during COVID-19? What are the reflections of university teacher on the basis of experience meet while conducting online assessment during COVID-19? What challenges did university teachers encounter while online teaching and assessment during COVID-19? The objective of the study to study the reflection of university teachers on online teaching and assessment during COVID-19. The present study was descriptive survey in nature, and I have taken a total of 60 university teachers out of
This is a
97.
joint paper, so you
Yes,
said
we have taken 60 university teachers purposively out of 97 university assistant professors. The present study was delivered to university teachers of Central University only, and the tools employed for the data collection, we have here employed 2 tools: self-constructed semi-structured questionnaire that is divided into 2 dimensions. One is online teaching learning, and another dimension is online assessment. There is we also employed here one more tool, that is 3-point Likert scale to know the opinion of the university teachers regarding online learning and online assessment. Next slide. Major findings. Yes. Major findings of the study. Majority of the participants, that is 93%, thought offline mode of teaching was more effective mode over online teaching. But on the other hand, only 60% university teacher, we can say that 60% university teachers showed their interest to teach through online mode. The next slide, please. Yes. if we take the preferences of university teachers for different modes of teaching, then we find university 50% university teacher gave preference to teaching through offline mode, whereas 38% preferred blended mode and 12% preferred online mode of teaching at university level. Next. Yes. Although 88% of the university teachers were aware of online assessment tools, out of which only 40% were having complete awareness. Still 60% were found have to be partial awareness. Majority of the participants, 85% felt the need of requisite training for effective conduct of online assessment. Okay, if we talk about the challenges faced by the university teachers while COVID-19, these challenges are technical literacy, lack of training, digital divide, and instability of the internet. 53% participants assumed technical literacy as a major challenge, and 57% encountered with the lack of training as a problem or a lack of training as a challenge. 55% laid emphasis on digital divide, and on the other hand, 59% laid emphasis on instability of the internet. Educational implication. For the first time after COVID-19, the present study made an attempt to study the reflection of university teachers. The result of the study shown the actual experiences of the online learning with respect to infrastructure, awareness, digital literacy, instability of the internet services, and digital divide, etc. This can help the department to bring requisite changes wherever required. The study helps other higher education institutions for organizing requisite training and awareness programs in order to make continuous development in the field of online teaching learning. The outcome of the study helps the policymakers to come up with a better plan which can help to eradicate the barriers that obstruct the smooth functioning of the online teaching learning process. Now, the suggestion for the further research. The sample for the present study was taken from the Central University of Jammu. Similar study can also be conducted in the rest of the higher education institutions.
But only one thing is very interesting, which you have shared, that 60% teachers had only, that is 40% teachers did not have any interest.
Yes.
So what is your recommendation for us? How to enhance the interest of those 40%? It's a big percent.
Okay, sir.
Because your recommendations did not work. What? Okay.
So I shared in the conclusion.
We'll take it the question afterwards. So now the next presenter we have Mr. Sujit Kumar Renotra and Dr. Shamsher Singh Dhillon from Department of Education, Central University of Punjab, and Sujit Kumar is Princess Farooq from Department of Education Studies, Central University of Jammu. Challenges faced by MEd students. It's a very specific topic. Challenges faced by specific target group, that is MEd students of Central University of Punjab in online field internship program. So this is, I think, very focused topic. Both of them have taken up. What are the challenges MEd students have faced in conducting online field internship program? Let us have some fruitful recommendations. And Mr. Sujit, you have to be very pleased. Let's talk about that. What are the challenges they have?
Good evening, everyone. I am presenting the topic challenges faced by MEd students of CUPG in online field internship program during COVID-19. During COVID-19. So basically, starting with what is the internship program? Basically, internship program is a platform where theoretical part is their theoretical part, theoretical knowledge of intern is multiplied by planned performance-based experience, and through which learner can experience their experience.
I think we know about the internship and all that. Just come to that. What the challenges they face? Concentrate on that.
So through this study, it has been found that the interns had faced a number of challenges. The first challenge is they had faced challenge in handling the learning platform, and the majority of interns are unable to use the Jamboard in the Google Meet platform. And it has been revealed that there is a problem of internet unavailability and connectivity, and it is also revealed that through this internet unavailability and poor connectivity, intern has faced inaccessibility to the learning resources and unable to upload their documents in Google Drive. And through the study, it has been found that there is a lack of flexibility and insufficient time to submit the tasks which they have assigned. It was a major challenge for the interns in the online internship program. And it is also revealed that there was a lack of cooperation among interns during the online internship program. And there is a lack of prior, interns have a lack of prior experiences of the tasks which are assigned in the online internship program, and insufficient time for conducting this tasks in online internship program also become a challenge for the interns. And there are unavailability of suitable gadgets, devices, and paid software which will be useful in editing of video modules, and challenging. It's become a challenging task for interns during the online internship program. And while saying about there is a one task related in the online internship program to develop multiple choice questions using revised Bloom taxonomy. So in that part, interns also face a challenge to develop multiple choice questions in higher order thinking skills because there is a lack of interaction among supervisors, lack of cooperation, lack of interaction between supervisors and peer groups. That's why they face a challenge to develop multiple choice questions for higher order thinking skills. And it is also found that they have lack of knowledge to manage e-portfolios, and it has also become a challenge for the interns to operate on e-portfolios. And one more thing, poor internet connectivity and internet unavailability, which also कहीं ना कहीं e-portfolio को उसको maintain करने में connectivity का जो था वो उसकी वजह से एक challenge बन गया, e-portfolio पे काम नहीं कर पाते. और next जो है वो है through this study it has been found that handling and using online learning platforms such as Google Classrooms, Google Meet, Padlet,
Yes, both these main recommendations बता दीजिए how to handle those challenges. What are your recommendations?
Yes sir. So basically जो major challenges जो हमारे सामने आए इस study से वो ये है कि जो handling नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि उनकी prior knowledge नहीं थी.
Okay, but any recommendation you have how to overcome those challenges, how to resolve those challenges? Any specific recommendations you have?
Yes sir, वो एक recommendation मैंने इसमें mention नहीं की, but recommendation ये थी, suggestion ये थी कि study की कि जो M.Ed interns हैं जो teacher education में उनको एक अलग से थोड़ा सा part होना चाहिए जिसमें online जो platform से कैसे कर पाएं उसके लिए
yes free training orientation
orientation पहले provide होनी चाहिए.
Thank you Mr. Sujit. Now we all believe that success of anything depends on the kind of attitude of the person. So next paper we have by Dr. Monica Bajaj, who is the Associate Professor in Higher Education. She will be referring to attitude of secondary school teachers towards IT during COVID-19 pandemic. Madam Monica.
Good evening, everyone. So my topic for the study was the attitude of secondary school teachers towards information technology during the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic really has disrupted the ways of life around the globe, and education is not an exception. It has compelled the teachers and students to follow the online system of education. This transformation has immensely affected the process of teaching and learning. Online teaching has just turned up as a massive shock for teachers' productivity, and the students' social life and learning. To maintain the continuity in the teaching learning process during that time, information technology brought a revolution to all the aspects of educational dimensions and enhanced the teaching learning process. For this system to run, the infrastructure, technical know-how, internet facilities are some of the key components. This was an abrupt change from the conventional to online mode for all the stakeholders of educational system. As is said, necessity is the mother of invention. Very briskly, the online system was adopted throughout the educational system, and students have adopted the system very quickly. But a considerable proportion of teachers, they have just found it very challenging. So with this, the current research aims at the following objectives. First objective was to study the attitude of secondary school teachers towards information technology during COVID-19 pandemic. Then second was to compare the attitude of government and private secondary school teachers towards information technology, and also to compare the attitude of secondary school teachers towards information technology with respect to their gender. Then hypothesis was created that considering that there is positive attitude towards information technology during COVID-19 pandemic, and there is no significant difference between the government and private schools, secondary school teachers. There is it was also hypothesized that there is no significant difference between the attitude of secondary school teachers with respect to their gender. Now, sample was collected from 5 government and 5 private schools of Jammu district. Total of 100 sample was taken, and descriptive survey method was used for the present study. Simple random sampling technique was used. The tool, standardized tool, that is attitude scale towards information technology for teachers by Nasreen and Islahi 2012 was used. Percentage, mean, standard deviation, and t-test was used for analyzing the data. After analyzing the data, results were like, it was found that 55% of the teachers were having moderate favorable attitude towards the information technology. And when data was collected, it was around 8 months gone for that COVID-19. And at the initial stages, schools were shut down, and teachers, specifically in government and private schools, teachers were not like of that they are not going to the schools for a longer time, and they stopped taking classes. There were no media, and we were not sharing any sort of material to the students. But in government schools, it took a long. In private schools, it was not a that kind of scenario, because private schools have given the opportunities to the teachers. They have learned themselves. They were being trained at a faster pace. There was technical support to the private school teachers, but in the government school teachers, there was no training was there, and the 6% teachers were found of extremely favorable attitude. They learned the things at their own. They were having one difficulty, that the government schools students, those are enrolled in government school, they don't have any mobile phones even. Just leave the task of computers. They were not having the mobiles at their homes. How to connect with those students, and that was a major difficulty faced by the government teachers. But in the private school systems, the phone numbers were available. Parents' phone numbers were very much available. Teachers contacted the parents, and mobile phones were also made available for the students. So in private sector, there was no such kind of difficulty was faced. And on the basis of this data, it was found that government school teachers were having a lower mean as compared to the private school teachers. And they found difficulty because of some infrastructure facilities, because of the technical support, and because of the internet facility to the students, specifically to the students. Then with respect to gender, there was no significant difference was found, but some of the you can say informal interviews were also conducted, where teachers, those were teaching in the government schools, they said that if we would have been provided with the technical support, we would have also done better. And if students were having mobile phones, then we could have done better. So their level of attitude was good. They were interested to do the things in a positive manner. But one point from the government and private teachers came that for the practical subject, which already been discussed in the previous sessions, that practical subjects were very difficult to teach, how to teach. But in private sector, teachers again tried hard. They recorded the practical in their labs themselves. They did it themselves. They recorded the videos and sent it to the to the students. So they just witness and they have little bit of exposure towards the practical part. So in nutshell, findings really tells that maximum teachers were having moderate positive favorable attitude towards the information technology. So why can't government provide them technical support? One technical support person can be appointed in each and every government school. So in case any future, keeping in mind the future perspective, God forbid if this kind of conditions occur again, so there can be some technical support and students' life cannot be wasted. In foreign countries, 1 year was really was 0 year, but thanks in India, teachers work very hard, and that's why the students are not considered under the 0 year. They were promoted by giving some of the training, and by this study also, after 8 months of the COVID-19 when it started in 2019, I took the data. Then teachers were in the favor of that to some extent we should give this hands-on practice to the students and to the teachers, whether it is COVID or not, in schools, this training should be go.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Dr. Monica. Now, during COVID-19, since the students were dependent on the most of the resources, whether open education resources and other resources to online. So there is a very interesting paper now, information seeking behavior of teacher trainees during COVID-19. So we have Mr. Sunil Kumar Bhatt, who is the research scholar, Department of Library, and also librarian of Meyer, and along with the Professor Sangeeta Gupta, who is the head of the Department of Library and Information Sciences, University of Jammu. This is a joint paper.
Good evening, sir. The topic of my paper is information seeking behavior of teacher trainees. As you know that the information is necessary for every person for any development. Therefore, the people seeks information to get growth. There is a various philosophers and researchers who has given the theories about the information seeking behavior. Just like the Darwin theory and the Wilson theory, information seeking behavior theories. And there are the Ellis theory of information seeking behavior. Not taking them much time and just going to my objectives of the study. To know the ICT awareness among the teacher trainees.
With this,
To know-
very fast.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. To know the ICT gadgets used by the teacher trainees to acquire information during the COVID-19. To know about the type of the resources preferred by the teacher trainees for seeking information. To find out the difficulties faced by the teacher trainees during the information retrieval. To know the online assistance offered by the libraries during the COVID-19. To find out the sophistication level of the teacher trainees regarding the e-resources subscribed by the library. Now I am going to skip these. I have just distributed the 300 questionnaires and received 264, and I analyzed the data and the findings of my research is. This study shows that the majority of the teacher trainees are aware about the ICT. Results revealed that the majority of the teacher trainees use mobile phones as a gadget for the information seeking during the COVID-19. Majority of teacher trainees preferred both online and printed resources of their teaching learning process. Results also showed that the most of the teacher trainees faced the network and bandwidth problem during the information retrieval. Teacher trainees are satisfied with their 24/7 accessibility to the e-resources. The results also revealed that a low percentage of the teacher trainees are satisfied with the e-resources subscribed by the libraries, and majority of the teacher trainees are satisfied with the online assistance provided by the librarians
through the online orientation programs and WhatsApp app groups. Teacher trainees want to get the proper guidance or training to use the e-resources frequently, sir. The recommendation are to arrange the programs for the users to make them fully aware about the ICT. Distribution of gadgets, mobile, laptops to the users who are in the great need of them and do not afford to due to the financial constraints. Training programs to the library professionals for the creation of the e-resources, public services, and use of the various social networks. Arrangements should be made to review the internet speed problem on the regular basis and enhance the bandwidth. To procure and subscribe more e-resources to meet the needs of the users. Assigning the work to the assistants to the library professionals who are sober and have a much tolerance so that they can endure the diverse type of the users. To provide the full technical support to the users where they feel any difficulties for the utilizing the e-resources and services. Thank you, sir. These are the findings.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatt. I think I'm really looking for the sixth recommendation. I don't know what I would like to say about the assigning work of assistant to lab who are sober and have good thoughts.
Yes,
I think that's required. That's
yes,
required.
due to the experience I have seen myself during my student period that the librarians of some of the institutions they are not receiving the students very friendly. They are just making the types of their
Your recommendation
engagement.
is that like librarians also need to be trained to be more sober.
Yes, yes. Sir. Okay.
Yes, I will just conclude because these are the ninth, because the time is very short. So thank you all. I think this was a wonderful opportunity for everyone to be here for attending this session 5 of this international conference on this very vital theme, which Maya College of Education has taken up perspective of teaching, learning, and assessment during COVID-19 pandemic. So congratulations to the organizers, Dr. Adit Gupta and his team. We understand this Maya has been doing wonders in the field of quality education. That's not, I think, even without my field management. So I first of all say that all participants have tried their level best, starting from Dr. Adit Gupta because he started with the developing and building of the digital ecosystem, university ecosystem, because that's a holistic presentation he gave, and in a very nutshell, he talked about that what type of ecosystem we need to have, where we could talk about not only learning but also the assessment and the teacher training, other aspects, and rather he gave us the whole futuristic kind of thing which we'll be having. I think maybe that within 2-3 years. What kind of teaching, learning, pedagogy, and that assessment programs we'll have. So I think with the presentation of Dr. Adit, we came to know that yes, COVID-19 had been kind of the potential jerk for everyone to see what would be the future of classrooms. It was not just, it was a really kind of virus or whatsoever you want to call it, pandemic, but the whole education system got a very different kind of message that what we need to prepare about the future. And then we had a very interesting paper by Sharia Sareen and Dr. Santana Mandal on subsiding teacher professional development. And they did talk about what could be teacher TBD and what kind of professional development is required, and online teaching. So all these papers were very interesting, and I think most of us have to realize one thing. I personally believe that it's not only the resources. What is more important is the process and the practices, the attitude. One paper we had about the attitude, the last one, the second last paper by Dr. Monica. where she said that there is no significant difference between the gender point of view, like gender-wise the difference is same. That means somewhere we need to be more focused on the resources available, not looking at what should we have, but whatsoever we have, we should concentrate on it and then try to be more realistic about this and go for giving best to the beneficiaries, the best to the students who are looking at us. So at this outset, I personally convey my thanks to the organizers and mainly Dr. Adit Gupta ji for giving me this opportunity to be the part of, and I again seek my apology for being late, but you can understand traveling from Raya to Chennai to this in between so many hurdles I had, and I think I was driving really fast to be well in time. So all scholars, I think the future is in the hand of the scholars. We have played our innings, we are playing our innings, but the future, bright scholars are sitting here. I think the future is very, very challenging in terms of teaching, learning, in terms of assessment, which we have to provide to the students of the country, and at least in context of the national policy education. You might be knowing that this time the budget has allocated too much of funds for online learning. So it's a budget and the resources are not the issue. The issue is that how much we are ready to accept those challenges. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here in this session, and all the persons who have helped us. Thank you, sir, for giving too much of slides. Slide translate, Dr. Shan, sir. Thank you, sir. And Mulraj ji, everybody. Mulraj ji, sir. And madam, thank you. Thank you. God bless you all.
Now I request Dr. Adit Gupta, Director and Principal, Maya College of Education, to present a memento to Dr. J.N. Balia as a token of appreciation.